I'm Jim Holman, editor of the San Diego Reader, and I'm speaking today with Bruce Henderson, who was a city councilman in San Diego, and we're about to begin to talk about a time when he became famous or infamous in San Diego. But so how did you get involved with the Chargers? Seems to me that was kind of your first famous moment.
Well, I was on the city council from 87 through 91.
Okay.
And became fairly well known in the community because I was quite outspoken on the city council.
Okay, one of those.
One
of those.
Yes, one of those. And so then in 1991, I ran for re-election, but I was defeated by a woman who claimed to be a scientist at Salk, a woman named Valerie Stallings.
Valerie Stallings, who becomes, who plays a big part in the Chargers story, the Padres story.
Is a Padres story. I have the good fortune to be the person who blew the whistle on her to the federal authorities, and she was prosecuted.
We're gonna get to
that.
that.
No, I understand, but I just say.
So you were defeated by her in 91.
91. I tried to warn people about her, but they didn't want to listen. That's the nature of democracy. So anyway.
So you're out of office.
I'm out of office, and
I'm
looking around for things to do, and I ran against DeDe Alpert for state assembly.
Oh, okay.
And very fortunately was defeated. I ran for city attorney after I was defeated in the city council. I ran for city attorney, and in the first 4 or 5 hours, as election returns came in, I was ahead.
Oh.
I ran against DeDe Alpert in the first 4 or 5 hours as election returns came in, I was ahead. But then the absentee ballots and the other Democrat machine votes came in, and I lost. So anyway, thankfully I didn't go to Sacramento. What an awful place to have been. Even for me. But in 1995, the Charger agreement came up.
Okay.
It had a...
So explain who the Chargers were to that point. Had Spanos bought the Chargers by then or not?
This Spanos family had owned the Chargers for a fair amount of time, and the Chargers had been brought by the Spanos family from San Diego down to San Diego, or from Los Angeles down to San Diego.
Oh, okay.
So the Chargers were here playing, and they became identified as a San Diego team. People forgot that they had originated up in the Los Angeles
I'd forgotten
area.
that myself. I didn't know that, I guess.
So anyway, they had a contract, and they were out at Jack Murphy Stadium, and they wanted to renegotiate that contract.
They wanted a bigger stadium, or
They just wanted to renegotiate the contract. It was coming to an end, so they had to renegotiate. So what they did was they presented to the city a contract, a new contract.
Okay.
And I think I'm the first person who wasn't a Charger paid attorney who read the contract. As far as I know, nobody at the city, including the city attorney, read the contract.
That comes out of the stories in the Reader that he hadn't read the contract.
That's right. He had finally admitted that no, he'd never read the contract. He claimed that one of the attorneys in his office had read, but by that time that attorney, who's a very nice person by the way, had died.
Oh.
So he was not a voice who could inform us as to whether that was true or wasn't true. My suspicion is that they were all ordered not to read it.
Wow.
And they were ordered my suspicion was that they were ordered not to read the contract, including city staff. No member of city staff, nobody in the city attorney. They were all ordered not to read it by one person, Susan Golding.
Oh my gosh.
Now I like Susan. Susan was a nice person. Well, I found her a nice person, but she wanted, and I never held that against her, she wanted to become a U.S. Senator. And the Spanoses were back then, at that time, we're talking about 1994, 95, they were the most powerful Republican force in the state of California. So if you wanted to become a U.S. Senator, you needed Alex Spanos' imprimatur.
So a little background on Susan Golding as mayor. Had she married Silberman by then?
Yes, she married him, and she was the, there was all that trouble that he got himself in.
That was later, though.
But anyway, in the interim there, she got divorced, and I've forgotten the timeline.
But while she was mayor, I mean, that's the great one of the great facts about San Diego, that you had two women who married these guys who were partners, at least
in Jack in the Box.
Well, Peterson was the Jack in the Box guy, and Silberman was an electronics company, and they were partners in the bank.
In the bank, yes.
And here they were. These two guys married these women who eventually became mayors of San Diego.
Yes, yes.
And partly through their wealth, of course.
Yes.
I knew Susan slightly because we had gone to the same undergraduate school back in Minnesota,
Ah,
as had Ballard Smith, who was the president of the Padres,
Yeah.
the son-in-law of Ray Kroc.
yeah.
So it was kind of a small town, I should
Yeah.
say, in those days.
One of the reasons I came to San Diego, because it's actually a big, small town.
Well, I don't think it's that way anymore.
Not anymore.
But at that time it was. And so Susan was married to Dick Silberman, and she was an up-and-coming star. I mean, she had wealth and she had looks, I would say, in those days.
Oh, yes.
And,
Very attractive.
And she was articulate.
Yes, yes.
But she...
And she was a Republican, a good Republican.
But do you think it was really the Spanos connection that made her want to sort of hide the details of this contract?
Well, that's my guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so
That was my impression.
So what did you do?
I read the contract.